Hey, what's poppin', my bros? What's good? UFC 282 full card predictions. Let's go. As always, before we get into the predictions, we're gonna go to the champions of the last card, the MoneyCity champions. As always, guys, if you want your MoneyCity comment to feature, you do have to hashtag your comment. So let's get into looking at the MoneyCity comments. Now, guys, the first MoneyCity comment's gonna be Labyrinth. Come in to MoneyCity and my bro Chef. You know, pure money. Yasmin. Pavla Smash, Nikolai, add RDA or JSP. Pure money from my bro the Chef. And Labyrinth went Pierce, Tuivasa, Pavlovich doesn't go the distance. Dos Anjos, pure money. A Sean going back to back. A is pure money. Hill Dakota over 1.5. Holland Wonderboy starts round 2. Hermanson Delidzi starts round 2. Pierce over 1.5 takedowns. I'm sure that hit. It's pure money. The Don said Yasmin, Pierce, RDA. It's basically free money. The confidence on MoneyCity, pure money, that's money. Randy Savage went for a pretty easy prediction, but it smacked, like pure smacked. And that's Tuivasa Sergei doesn't go the distance. Didn't even leave the first minute. Pure money. Cameron Shamurda City, he's back with the Sergei KO. Pure money. My brother Josh Hogan displayed one of the best MoneyCity comments like a few months ago. He's returned to the land, the promised land of MoneyCity. And Josh went Pierce, Haragui, under 2.5 Tuivasa and Pavlovich. It's pure money. My brother Pike, Wonderboy Holland over 1.5 with Haragui. Pure money. My brother Forrest Daniels going back to back. Back to back, Forrest, I see you. And Forrest Daniels went Nikolai, Pavlovich under 2.5, the Fresh Prince. It's not funny, it's money. And the final MoneyCity play is Shoujo, Emily Dakota, Angela Hill over 1.5 with Clay Guida as an underdog. And Taito Ivaza Sergei doesn't go the distance. That is MoneyCity. That's pure money. As always, guys, if you want your MoneyCity play to feature, make sure you hashtag your comment. Alright, guys, moving into the first matchup on this card, we've got Cameron Saaiman taking on Stephen Koslow. Who is Stephen Koslow? I don't know. So yeah, the tape on Stephen Koslow is not great. I have seen a couple fights on YouTube and I believe like one of those was an amateur fight. He does seem like a jiu-jitsu player. Now on the flip side, Cameron Saaiman, this dude looked pretty good on the Contender Series. Like training with Daukaus, Plessis, the combinations look good. They look quick. Specifically the kicks. You know, the kicks look good. So if Cameron Saaiman can stay on the feet and strike with Obi-Wan Shinobi the Pillow, yeah, really messing around with the octagon name, Stephen Koslow. Come on. If Cameron could stay on the feet and strike with this guy, I think he's probably going to beat him. You know, show the combination, show the speed, show the same thing that he showed on the Contender Series. On the flip side, like I said, Stephen Koslow does seem to be about the jiu-jitsu. If he can take Cameron to the mat, then he might, you know, might show his game. Might show his foundation, which is jiu-jitsu. For me, though, I'm going to side with Cameron Saaiman. I tried to go against him on the Contender. And yeah, it didn't work. So yeah, I'm going to pick him to win this matchup. Moving into a matchup between Daniel Da Silva taking on Vinicius Salvador. Now, Daniel Da Silva, this guy's cardio is pretty bad. So if it goes past round 1, you know, I can see him kind of fatiguing, getting stopped. Against Jeff Molina, you know, went past round 1, gets stopped. Against Francisco Figueiredo, didn't even go past round 1, just got knee barred. Then against Victor Altamirano, this one was, you know, had a good moment against Victor, but essentially just got dusted. So yeah, I think the main weakness for Daniel Da Silva would be like cardio. You know, as soon as the fight gets past round 1, he's just kind of fatigued and he just gets stopped, gets dusted. The best thing about Daniel Da Silva, though, not to just mention like the weakness, like the best thing about his game would be the kicks. I think his kicks are pretty good. So yeah, I do like the kicks of Daniel Da Silva, but I just don't like the cardio. And that's probably why the cardio's not great, because he's trying to really stop the opponent with those kicks. Now on the flip side, we've got Vinicius Salvador. This guy's movement's pretty good. You know, you're looking at the way he's moving the shoulders, he's just moving good. You know, Laura Sanko kind of described it as loose. You know, I describe it as fluid. same thing. See, I think Salvador's going to have better cardio. You know, if this one goes into round 2, he's probably still going to be loose, moving well, moving the shoulders, you know, throwing those hooks. And if Daniel da Silva's tired at that point, you know, I see Salvador kind of just being a problem. That movement looks difficult. You know, and I think he's going to stop Daniel da Silva if this goes past round 1, which I think it probably does. So yeah, my pick, I'm going to side with Vinicius Salvador. I just think Daniel da Silva's cardio's terrible, in all honesty. So yeah, I'll side with Salvador to win this matchup. I like the movement. Moving into a matchup between Erik Silva taking on TJ Brown. Now, TJ Brown is a good wrestler, right? The wrestling's good, but if I'm going to ask you guys, like, what more is good in the game of TJ Brown? Like, what can we really say? You know what I'm saying? You look at the boxing against Shailan Nordambekar. It was lazy. It was lazy boxing. Like, I was not impressed. And the striking defense, also not impressed with that. So, yeah, I think TJ Brown is a good wrestler. And I think, you know, most of his wrestling is the reason why he got to the UFC. But that's really all TJ Brown is going to be. Now, on the flip side, Erik Silva, you look at the performance on the contender. You know, took that guy to the mat and it's just complete dusteration. Dusted. You know, nasty, nasty elbow that was landed and the opponent just kind of covered up and he was like, nah, no more. You take the contract. That's your contract, G. That's yours. Take that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, good, nice ground and pound performance. Now, if this one goes to the mat, who's taking it to the mat? Is it TJ Brown or is it Erik Silva? But yeah, for me, guys, personally, I cannot side with TJ Brown. I just think he's a lazy fighter. The boxing's, it's not technical. You know, it's lazy. The wrestling's good. But yeah, I've got to side with Erik Silva to win this matchup. Moving into a matchup between Billy Quarantillo taking on Alexander Hernandez. Now guys, Alexander Hernandez is going to be moving down to 145. You know, kind of giving up on 155 and he's like, you know, let me drop an extra 10 pounds. Maybe I'll be good. Personally, I don't really like it when a fighter does that. You know, it's kind of like an excuse. You know, you're not doing well in your weight class and you think, I'm going to drop an extra 10 and then I'm going to do well. It doesn't work like that. You know, Billy Quarantillo, this guy's got cardio, determination, a willingness to fight. He can grapple. He's scrappy. He's tough. You know, Billy Quarantillo, this guy's good. He's good. And now Alexander Hernandez has to drop an extra 10 pounds to deal with this. I don't see it going well. I do not see it going well. Like, what is Hernandez going to do to Billy in this matchup that's going to win him the fight? Are you going to wrestle round in, round out? Like, are you really going to stick to a wrestling game plan to win the fight? Probably not. Are you just going to be super explosive and find that big shot that you found against Benil Dariush? Probably not. I think Billy knows that he's got good cardio. He's tough. He can brawl. He can grapple. You know, he can mix it up. Whereas on the flip side, Alexander Hernandez, you know, is he a better wrestler? Is he better at being explosive to find stoppages? I don't know. I've got more faith in Billy Quarantillo than I do Alexander. So yeah, that's got to be my pick. I'm going to side with Quarantillo to win this matchup. Alright, moving into the next matchup, we've got the Action Man versus Numansa. Curtis taking on Buckley. Guys, so far, this has got to be the closest 50-50 matchup on the card. So far. And I'll tell you the reasons why I believe it's close to 50-50. Curtis has a lot of power. Buckley has a lot of power. Curtis can wrestle. Buckley can wrestle. Curtis has good experience. Buckley doesn't have the same experience, but he does have, you know, good experience inside the UFC at this point. I think maybe Curtis is more technical, but because both guys are so powerful, it doesn't really matter who's more technical. You know, there's so much power in this matchup. I think also Curtis could be losing the fight, which he has been losing fights, and then a big shot lands and it's, you know, complete dusteration. I think the same for Buckley. You know, Buckley was losing to Impa Kasanganai and then bang, dusted. Beautiful. So I think it's fair to say this matchup is pretty 50-50. If I'm going to give a slight 5% edge to one side, maybe I'd give that edge to Buckley. But there's no real reason why I'd give that edge to Buckley. Like, I can't think of any real logical reasons why I'd give that edge to Buckley. You know, it's pretty much a 50-50 matchup. You know, like I said, there's a lot of power on both sides. Both sides can wrestle. Both sides can be losing the fight, then bang, it's a big shot. This is a good matchup, a 50-50 matchup. For me personally, I'm going to side with Buckley. Maybe the age of Buckley. There is a 7-year age difference, but I don't even think that's going to play into this fight. You know, it's 50-50. Curtis can win this fight. Buckley can win this fight. Both guys are powerful. Both guys have big knockout power, and it makes it a great fight. I'm going to side with Numansa, but yeah, 50-50. Alright, moving into the next matchup, we've got Edmen Shahbazyan taking on Dalcha Lungiambula. Now, Edmen Shahbazyan's kind of giving me Dominic Reyes vibes. I wouldn't go completely Dominic Reyes vibes, but it's getting close. You know what I'm saying? Keeps losing matchups, and you kind of need to break that streak. On the flip side, Dalcha Lungiambula's never been like super well-rounded. Like, he has got the grappling judo background, but kind of wants to knock you out. You know, big power. So that's kind of what Dalcha Lungiambula's all about. You know, wants to land a big shot. The cardio's not great. The output's not great. He's just like a knockout or bust type of fighter. On the flip side, Edmen Shahbazyan, like I said, it's getting kind of close to Dominic Reyes vibes. You know, need to break the streak. If we're going to look at what Edmen has that Dalcha doesn't, there's a lot. You know, the technique's better. The boxing's better, the output, the combinations, the grappling. Edmen's good. Actually, not the grappling. The grappling's not too great for Edmen, considering Hermansson dusted him and Imavov also dusted him with the crucifix. Essentially, if Edmen Shahbazyan does lose this fight, I'm assuming it's like a round 1 stoppage. You know, Dalcha just finds a big shot round 1, knocks him out. But I'm not going to side with that prediction. I really believe Edmen Shahbazyan should piece up Dalcha Lungiambula, you know, considering there's way more to offer on the side of Edmen, and there is a 10-year age difference. So for me, I'm going to side with Edmen Shahbazyan, the golden boy, to break the losing streak and win this matchup. Moving into a matchup between Perrin taking on Raul Rosas Jr. Now guys, Raul Rosas Jr. is just Werner Jandiroba's little bro. Let's be honest, that's Werner Jandiroba's brother. Quagmire's son. Now guys, Raul Rosas Jr., the jiu-jitsu is extremely good. Like, extremely good. You know, you could say it's like the new generation. You know what I'm saying? Only 18 years old, and the jiu-jitsu is just, it's clean. It's good. So that's what he's going to bring to this matchup. You know, he's not going to look to really strike with Perrin. He's going to look to take him to the mat, take the back, and just look to display the jiu-jitsu. On the flip side, I don't really think Perrin's that good, to be honest. Like, the boxing's okay, the kicking's okay, the grappling's okay, but I wouldn't say he's like elite. You know what I'm saying? He's not elite. But when I look at Raul Rosas Jr. show that elite jiu-jitsu on the Tuesday Night Contender Series, super impressed. And I've not really been impressed with Perrin. I think Werner Jandiroba's little bro, Raul Rosas Jr. is just going to go in there, display jiu-jitsu, and potentially wrap up Perrin round 1. So yeah, that's going to be my prediction with this matchup, and I am quite confident in this prediction. I think it's quite an easy prediction to make. I know he's only 18 years old, but the jiu-jitsu's good. That's my pick. Moving into the next matchup, we've got Jairzinho Rozenstruik taking on Chris Daukaus. This is going to be striker versus striker. Now, Jairzinho Rozenstruik is the better kickboxer. You know, this guy's kickboxing is very good. Chris Daukaus is primarily a boxer. And we've got to be honest that Chris Daukaus does have good boxing. You know, the hands are pretty good. They're quick. They're accurate. If I'm going to pick who's like technically and fundamentally the better boxer, I would side with Chris Daukaus. But Jairzinho Rozenstruik has so much power. You know, it only really takes one clean hook from Jairzinho to basically dust you. You know, the guy's got power for days. So essentially, it is going to be striker versus striker. And in that type of matchup, you just want to pick who you believe to be the better striker. For me, I think Jairzinho is a better striker than Chris Daukaus. I'm not saying that Chris Daukaus, you know, can't strike, because like I said, I do believe he's the better boxer, but he's not a better kicker than Jairzinho. And I would say Jairzinho, although he's not as good technically with the boxing, I do think he's more powerful. So yeah, really good matchup, and I would kind of be surprised if this matchup did go 15 minutes, considering Daukaus has been TKO'd by Blades and TKO'd by Derek Lewis, you know, so his chin is kind of been dusted a little bit, and it might not take much to send him back to the mat. You know, you could say that Jairzinho Rozenstruik was dusted by Alexander Volkov, but Volkov's big. You know, that's a big heavyweight. You know, bigger than Chris Daukaus. So yeah, I think if Chris Daukaus is going to be smart with this matchup, you don't really engage in the pocket. You know, you don't get into a brawl with Biggie Boy. Otherwise, you're going to go to sleep. You know, you're going to get dusted. My opinion for this matchup, though, I do believe Chris Daukaus at some point is going to go to Shadow City. You know, he's going to get dusted at some point. So yeah, for me, I'm going to side with Jairzinho Rozenstruik to win this matchup. I think he's a better striker, and I think more power. So yeah, that's my pick. Guys, if you waited to smoke with me, amen. If you've been smoking this whole time, double amen. If you're not a smoker but you enjoy the smoke breaks, that's always been a triple amen. Let's go. Guys, I want to mention two things. The first thing, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Just how good is Wonderboy? Amazing. Unbelievable. And I know some people might say like, well, Kevin Holland really should have grappled. He should have. He really should have. But can we just appreciate just how good Wonderboy is? You know, nearly 40 years old. Look at the kicks. Unbelievable. Insane. And the second thing I do want to mention on the smoke break, my thoughts and prayers do go out to the families of the 4 souls that were brutally taken. Some people might know about the Idaho case. It's heartbreaking. And for me, guys, I'm quite stoic. You know, I like to practice the stoic way of being, but every now and then that mindset just gets dusted, especially when you see a case like this. You know, it gets to you. Heartbreaking. And my thoughts and prayers are with the families of the 4 souls that were taken. Now, if you're somebody that doesn't know about the Idaho case, I would advise just stay away. Do not even look. Don't even look, you know, because you watch one video and then you watch another video and you know, it just consumes you. You don't want to look, just stay away. But yeah, thoughts and prayers with the family members and the friends of the 4 souls that were taken brutally. It's heartbreaking. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's get into breaking down the main card. Alright, moving into a really good fight. We've got Bryce Mitchell taking on Ilia Topuria. And what makes this fight so good is Bryce Mitchell is undefeated and so is Ilia Topuria. So you've got 15-0 Bryce Mitchell taking on 12-0 Ilia Topuria. Both of these guys super good. And this is a great matchup. Now guys, the reason why Bryce Mitchell is undefeated, his jiu-jitsu super good, like super good. And I know some people might mention like he did drop Edson Barboza, so maybe his striking's really good too, but I don't think so. I think the main reason why he dropped Edson is because Edson wasn't really thinking about the striking of Bryce Mitchell, and if you don't think about one thing and that one thing comes, you get dropped. So yeah, I wouldn't say Bryce is a super good striker. His jiu-jitsu is super good though. You know, black belt, super good jiu-jitsu. Now on the flip side, Ilia Topuria also undefeated. And the reason why is going to be his jiu-jitsu is extremely good, just like Bryce Mitchell. I would also say that Ilia Topuria's wrestling, super good. His boxing combinations, beautiful. Now guys, my prediction with this matchup, I'm going to side with Ilia Topuria just because I believe he's a little bit more well-rounded than Bryce Mitchell. I believe his boxing is going to be better. I believe his wrestling is going to be better, and that's why I'm going to side with Ilia Topuria. Now, if Bryce Mitchell can show us, look, it doesn't matter that his boxing's better. It doesn't matter that he's a better wrestler. I'm going to wrap him up. I'm going to submit Ilia. If Bryce Mitchell can do that, all the credit, it's a massive win. But somebody's O has got to go, and I believe it's going to be Bryce Mitchell. I just think Ilia Topuria is more well-rounded, so that's going to be my pick. Moving into a matchup between Darren Till taking on Daukaus du Plessis. Now guys, this is quite an interesting prediction to make because I have picked Daukaus du Plessis so far every time inside the UFC. Like against Perez, made that pick. Against Trevin Giles, made that pick. against Brad Tavares made that pick. And to be honest, guys, I am a fan of Daukaus du Plessis. Like, his speed is good, his aggression's good. Now, the things that I don't really like about Daukaus du Plessis is, like, his technique may not be the best. You know, you can see against Brad Tavares, he uses this 2 to 5 punch combination where he kind of leaps forward and just throws these punches. And I don't want to say it's like amateur level, but against Darren Till, this may not work. Like I said, the speed and aggression of Daukaus is pretty good, but he's not super technical. Now on the flip side, Darren Till does have the Muay Thai striking background. You know, his Muay Thai is good. It's very good. And I know some people might speak about, you know, his output's not great, kind of waits for the opponent too much. That's kind of true. But at the very same time, he is like a sniper. You know, he's looking to snipe you with that left hand. And he's good at doing it. When it works, it's good. On the flip side, when the left hand counter doesn't work, we say, you know, not enough output, watching the opponent, not good enough. I believe that if we're going to make a pick based on recent performances, then the pick's going to be Daukaus du Plessis. But if we're going to really think about the matchup and think about the left hand of Darren Till, the left kick of Darren Till, it might be effective, you know, especially if du Plessis overcommits with that 2 to 5 punch combination. He might get countered. I think a lot of people are going to overlook Darren Till's ability in this matchup, but I'm not going to be one of them. I think Darren can win this fight. I think he wins this matchup. Like I said, I've not gone against Daukaus yet. If I'm wrong this time, all the credit. But I'm going to side with the Muay Thai striker, Darren Till, to win this matchup. Moving into a matchup between Santiago Ponzinibbio taking on Alex Morono. It was originally supposed to be Robbie Lawler, but we've got a new replacement, and that replacement, Alex Morono. Now, this one is pretty difficult to predict. I do believe that Ponzinibbio is maybe the better striker. You know, the boxing's good, the aggression's good. This guy's got KO power. But then again, we are going to mention that Santiago Ponzinibbio isn't exactly in his prime. You know, this guy nearly died. And although he's come back and proved that, look, I'm still going to fight. Although he's done that, we do have to admit that Ponzinibbio's not in his prime anymore. Now, on the flip side, Alex Morono arguably doing some of the best work that he's done so far in his UFC career. Like, he's on a good run. He's on a nice run. I wouldn't say that Alex Morono is going to be fighting for a title or anything like that, but, you know, on a nice 4-fight winning streak, he's doing some nice work. I do believe the technique of Alex Morono's not great. You know, it's not super technical, kind of dips his head when he's throwing his punches, which isn't great. You know, you don't really want to do that. And Santiago Ponzinibbio is probably good enough to time Alex Morono to find a nice shot, you know, that could potentially stop the fight. But guys, even though I believe Ponzinibbio is the better pick, I still think about, you know, the fact he's not in his physical prime. I just think about that. And that makes me kind of, you know, not want to make the pick. But at the same time, I believe he's technically better than Alex Morono. So yeah, difficult pick to make. You know what, guys? I did pick Alex Morono as an underdog against Matt Semmelsberger. I'm going to give Santiago Ponzinibbio the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to side with Santiago to win this matchup. Like I said, I just believe he's technically better than Alex. You know, a better puncher, better boxer. So yeah, that's going to be my pick. Alright, moving into the co-main event between Paddy Pimblett taking on Jared Gordon. This is a good co-main event. Now, Paddy Pimblett is, you know, he's a good jiu-jitsu player, but there's not much more to offer. I'm not saying his striking's like super bad, but it's not on the same level as his BJJ. And same with the wrestling of Paddy Pimblett. I'm not saying his wrestling's like super bad, but it's not great. You know, his jiu-jitsu is very good. But guys, the point I'm making here is outside of Paddy's BJJ, what is he really good at? Not much. Now on the flip side, Jared Gordon, there is more to like in his like overall game, such as cardio, such as wrestling, such as output, such as experience. But the two things I do want to mention for Jared is he is primarily a wrestler, and you probably don't want to wrestle in this matchup. And the second thing I want to mention, he's not exactly a big 155er. You know, he's not massive. You know what I'm saying? He's a medium-sized lightweight. So really, if Jared Gordon wants to win this matchup, I think he should avoid grappling. I'm not saying his wrestling's bad. I'm just saying if you give Paddy a chance to use his BJJ, it might end badly. You know what I'm saying? It might not be good. So if you're Jared Gordon, you probably want to stay on the feet, want to look to strike with Paddy, stay in the fight. Even if the rounds are somewhat close in the striking, it's probably a better idea than grappling with Paddy. However, I don't believe that's going to happen. I do believe at some point there is going to be grappling, whether Jared initiates the grappling or Paddy initiates the grappling. I think we're going to go to the mat at some point. And when that does happen, I think the jiu-jitsu of Paddy Pimblett is good enough to cause problems for Jared Gordon. So my prediction with this matchup, at some point Paddy's going to take the back of Jared and it's going to be a wrap. So yeah, the head is coming off. Jared Gordon, you're going to get dusted, most likely. And it's not even like Jared's bad. Jared is good. He's got more to offer than Paddy. But the one thing that Paddy does have to offer that's very good is jiu-jitsu, and I think at some point we're going to see that. So that's going to be my pick. Moving into the main event, we've got Jan Blachowicz, Polish power, legendary Polish power, taking on Magomed Ankalaev. If Jan Blachowicz connects with Magomed Ankalaev, he's going to dust him. He's going to starch him, and that's because the legendary Polish power really is legendary. You also have to mention the grappling work of Jan Blachowicz, although I'm not entirely sure it's going to be on display against Magomed Ankalaev. Now another weapon of Jan Blachowicz is going to be the body kick. The body kick, the calf kick, it's money. It's pure money. So really look out for those attacks of Jan Blachowicz, you know, hooks, body kicks, calf kicks. They're going to be the main attacks that he has for Magomed Ankalaev. Now on the flip side, Magomed, this guy is super calculated. You know, this guy's a good striker, good grappler, good cardio. He's a monster. And that's what makes this main event so good. You know, you've got legendary Polish power against Russian power. You know, both of these guys super good. Now my read on the main event, I believe if Jan Blachowicz does win this fight, it's going to happen round 1, round 2. If it goes past round 2, Magomed's going to win this fight. I just kind of see Jan Blachowicz fatiguing later in the fight or in the middle of the fight, and that's where I believe Magomed's going to have most of his success. So that's essentially what I believe this main event's going to be. Either Jan Blachowicz becomes the champion again via TKO, round 1, round 2. If the round 1 or round 2 stoppage doesn't happen for Jan Blachowicz, Magomed Ankalaev is going to become the new champion, and that's because Jan Blachowicz is kind of going to wilt in the middle of the fight. Maybe similar to what Glover Teixeira done to Jan. You know, kind of took him to the mat, made him give up. Maybe Magomed does that round 3, round 4. Guys, this main event, I cannot wait. It's a shame that we don't get to see the rematch between Glover and Jiri Prochazka. That's a shame. But this main event is great. My prediction, guys, I think Jan Blachowicz has already been a champion. I believe it's time for a new champion, and that new champion's going to be Magomed Ankalaev. I just think he's going to, you know, survive that round 1, round 2 Polish power. And that's where he's going to take over and start to just basically make Jan quit. So yeah, my prediction, I'm going to side with Magomed to find a stoppage round 3, round 4 and become the new champion. That's my pick. As always, keep your eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. That's Mac Miller. Alright, peace.